All right, good morning. Let me tell you a little bit about where the Department of Education wants to go over the next few years to try and push us forward in all the areas that you've heard about today. Now, when Tim first started, he talked about fast forward. But sometimes before you can fast forward, you need to flash back and talk about where you were at. So let's go back about 20 years when the Department of Education created a series of discovery programs for the middle schoolers. Because think about 1996. Right? What did we have? What did we not have? So we created a series of discovery programs: career discovery, computer discovery, technology discovery. Very innovative at the time, got you started, people that had never touched a computer and so forth, unlike these guys and gals here who were just ripping through these programs that you've seen today. We needed to introduce people to that. Because in 1996, how many people had ever heard of Skype, Google, Facebook, all of those types of things? I saw one hand back there. And so those types of things were just getting started. If you had a cell phone, somebody had called that cell phone up a minute ago, it looked like a brick, you put it in a bag, and it was in the trunk of your car. So we started those programs. They were very innovative, and they worked well for a time. But as we know, technology moves forward at a faster and faster rate. So in the mid-2000s, let's say 2006, we created and moved those programs over to information communication technology and STEM. So we upgraded those programs, and they're still middle school programs. We also worked with our high school programs. In the 1990s, we had some software, hardware programs. Well, then we created IT programs. We created digital media programs. We created programs that had national certifications for students so that when they walked out, they could be job ready. They could take these programs, they could take these certifications anywhere they wanted. So again, this worked well. Got us ahead of the curve, moved farther and deeper and faster, got students better training. Well, now we're in 2016, so where are we at now? Again, we need to go through that same process. When you take a look at where technology is at today, you take a look at what these guys and gals did just a few minutes ago, you realize that you now have grandmothers across the country who are FaceTiming with their grandchildren. Now those grandchildren at the same time are working on apps and games on these cell phones. When you take a look at, last week we worked with some of our auto tech instructors. Some of the national people from auto tech told us that the average car has 30 processors and 5 miles of electrical wiring in there. So, any of you guys think you want to work on cars? Right here. Several development centers were there. Lots of houses built. But what we found is that nobody knew where the hydrants are at, the fire hydrants, because the developers put them in there. So my son, who was 13, took a team of students with a GPS unit that was given to us from the city and the county. GPS mapped about 70 hydrants there and handed that unit back to them. They downloaded it into their map, realized nobody knew where all of these hydrants were at, and now everybody was safe. They did a 500-foot radius, they knew where all the water was at and so forth. So they said that this saved about a month's worth of time, 13-year-olds. So when you take a look at where we're at now, and the governor talks about productivity, he talks about jobs. My best friend is an engineer. He works for an oil company. He's out the Gulf right now moving an oil rig. But what did he have to do to prepare? He's using 3D software. He's in the simulator and learn how that plane works before he ever gets in the cockpit of one. So the job's going to require more and more training. So that brings us to 2016. Last year we created a task force with a lot of the partners that you see in here today, and there's just no way to thank everybody, but certainly the governor, the legislature, C-Spire, the folks from Maris Winston Baker, Code.org, any number of people worked with us, local people, IT folks, superintendents and so forth, got together with us for a task force and said, where do we need to go for the next few years to make sure that we're where we need to be? Now keep in mind, we'd always worked on middle school and high school programs. So now we realize that a number of school districts had already started pushing this down into the elementary school. You see computer technology, you see robotics and engineering, you see